When you define a class in Python, you're going to see self everywhere. What is self and why is it everywhere? So I've got a class here, point. This point class has three methods, an initializer, an isOrigin method, and a moveTo method. I can make an instance of this class by calling it. I get access to the attributes on this class instance, and I can call methods on it. If I take this self argument, that's the first argument to each one of these methods, and I delete that argument, what do you think will happen? So now when I try to make a new point object by calling the point class, I get an error. The error says dunder init, our initializer, takes 3 positional arguments, but 4 were given. Now we only passed 3 arguments into our point class. It got 4 arguments because the 4th argument was self. So whether you like it or not, the first argument to every one of your methods is going to be self, which means we need to capture this self thing that's passed in as the first argument. So what is self? We're going to change our isOrigin method here to return the ID of self. So ID is a built-in function that allows you to get a number that represents which object in memory you're pointing to. So if I call isOrigin, I get a number. If I look at the ID of P, I'm going to get the same number. What that means is that this P variable here that points to my class instance, it points to the same object as my self variable here. So self is really just a variable that points to the instance of the class that you're currently working with. All right, one more thing with self. What if I take self everywhere in my code and I change it to this? Will this work? All right, so again, we make a new point object, and we'll actually see we can access attributes and we can call methods just like before. It doesn't actually matter what you call self. Now, it matters in that it's a very strong convention. You should call it self, because otherwise people are going to be confused when they look at your code. But you're able to call self whatever you would like. So some programming languages use the word this. In Python, we use the word self. What matters is that it's the first argument in every method. So when Python calls a method in your class, it will pass in the actual instance of that class that you're working with as the first argument. So when you define a class in Python, every method that you define as its first argument, it needs to accept self. Self represents and points to the actual instance of the class that you're working with.